I'm driving around Midland, Texas. I think I'm the only guy in town not wearing cowboy boots. We met a gentleman the other day at lunch who just happened to, is that your Woody? I said, yeah. He said, and I said, is that your Model T bucket? He said, yeah. So we started to talk. I told him what we're looking for. He said, I don't really know anybody, but give me your phone number and I'll think about it. So he went home and went through his phone book. Son of a gun, he turned us on to at least 4 different people that turned out to be an amazing source of contacts for old cars, barn find cars. So we're going to another one right now, Roland's Mustangs. A guy who had a Mustang rebuilding business, a restoration business, a parts business, but he's since closed it down and now just messes around with cars on his own. So I'm told he's got some inventory that he wants to get rid of. So that's what we're gonna go check out right now. He said be there at 10, it's 10 after 10. So let's see what he's got. Here we are at Roland's. Now interesting, the Volkswagen that was at the gate yesterday is not there today. So, Roland, Morgan Roland, he said, follow me, my dad's over at the shop. This dog said, I've never seen a wooden car before. Oh yeah, this is going to be a good day. Oh, look at this thing. What, are you kidding me? Oh man. What a good morning. It hasn't even started yet. Anyway, here we are. I guess is it called Roland's Mustangs?
It's, yeah, Roland's Custom Paint, Roland's Mustang. The body shop and the Mustang store were kind of a separate deals, but.
So there's no more Mustang business.
No, we kind of changed it to Roland's Custom now. So we got a little antique store that we're putting together, and we buy and sell. Our dealer's license is Roland's Mustang.
Okay.
So anything that we buy and sell to the public goes out on the Roland's Mustang ticket.
So I'm looking right now at a fire truck, an airplane, a school bus. You're into radical stuff here.
Well, I got a lot of kids, and I want them to be able to play on anything.
A caboose.
Yep.
Holy mackerel! Well, if you could show us around, this is
yeah.
What a great morning this is going to be.
I have, like I said, I got 9 kids. So
Yeah. So how many boys and girls? What do you got?
I got 7 boys and 2 girls.
Wow, man.
So my first 5 are all grown, but you know, they're all kind of into cars.
So are these cars for sale?
Everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale. You heard it here first.
They can find us on Roland's Custom on Facebook.
Okay.
But
so you got a 55 two-door wagon, 55 Chevy two-door wagon.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a rare one.
Yeah.
It's not a Nomad.
No, it's just what do they call those?
A handyman or something?
Handyman, yeah.
And so it's got a louvered hood.
Yeah, somebody did a decent job on the louvers.
3 on the
That
tree.
one's pretty well bare.
No, it's automatic on a column. So is this a 150? It's got a very standard wheel. The 150s only had 1 sun visor. This has 2, so no, it's not. So what would you ask for something like that?
That, I'd like to get $5,500 out of it.
$5,500.
Yeah.
Is it a pretty solid car?
It's decent. Floors are a little rusty, but not like not like a lot of the stuff we see that comes from up north.
Oh, no kidding.
You know,
You
most
got
of the
guys
stuff-
coming from up north down here to buy cars?
Oh yeah, we send stuff. We send stuff back up that way pretty regular.
Now, is it like a 54 Ford panel?
That is, yeah, it's a 54.5. It was I think it belonged to the newspaper in San Angelo.
It's a 6-cylinder?
No, I think this one's a V8.
Oh yeah, it's a Y block. It'll probably be a 272 or something like that.
Yeah.
Nah, it's okay. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that was the original color. Look at that.
Yeah, it would have been
That
a
would've been
neat
pretty
turquoise
cool.
truck. Yeah.
Wow. So what would you ask for this? I'm just asking because somebody watching this is going to want.
Yeah, this one. I mean, I'd like to get 5,000 or 6,000 out of that.
Now, if we stop and talk about every car, we're not going to. We're not going to get through this.
No doubt.
Now I saw that huge fire truck, like a Diamond T or something. That
is
looks like a caricature.
Yeah, that is 1939 American LaFrance.
Man.
That's Midland's number 3.
No kidding.
So number 1 and number 2 are in the museum downtown.
So this is a fire engine we've been talking about. So tell me about what 39.
It's a 39 American LaFrance.
It looks bigger than
It's
life.
a beast. Yeah, it's amazing how big it is. It's got a V12. It's got 9,000 miles on it.
9,000. All in this town.
Yeah, it never moved. It's just hard. You just gotta pull it. It's kind of slow.
Look at the size of that door.
Isn't that a beast?
Now,
This old man had it, and he had it in an old junkyard on Rankin Highway, about 2 miles east of here.
Uh-huh.
He had a whole bunch of old cars. Well, he died.
Oh, wow.
So his kid gives me a call, and we go out there and we buy all the 50s stuff. And finally talked him into selling me the fire truck. That was the last car that we drug out of the yard.
So
And
39 is the same year as my Woody.
Oh, yeah?
Something, yeah.
Yeah. It's
So,
just,
all right, so if somebody wanted this, what would you ask for it?
that one I got priced at $15,000.
15,000 bucks.
Yeah.
That's got a V12?
Yeah.
Is that like a Packard motor or something?
Oh, it's like a big long motor.
So that's a purpose-built motor. Look at that.
Isn't that a V12? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Well,
Yeah.
it's 2 spark plugs per cylinder.
Yeah,
So
so
one,
there's
two,
6 on
three.
each side.
6 on each side.
That'd be
so it's
12.
I wonder how, like, I guess the pistons go vertically?
I,
Man, it's not a V, I don't think.
no, you're right. Maybe it ain't a V.
Wow.
Maybe it's a straight 6 with, I don't know. I don't have any idea. I know it's got more spark plugs than I want to buy.
It's got a Delco Remy
Mm-hmm.
voltage regulator up there, and looks like a
Great
Stromberg carburetor. or
Big
something.
carburetor, yeah.
Isn't that something?
Isn't
I
that
have no
wild?
idea. I'm gonna have to do some research now. So I can't see. It says American LaFrance, and I can't see where it was made. I'm gonna go home and do some research tonight. This is one of the most spectacular vehicles I've ever seen.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. So these gauges are from New York. I don't know who made the gauges. They say New York. So you've had it 10 years?
It took me 10
Oh, it
years
took
to
you 10
get
years
it.
to get it?
Yeah. I can't remember how many years we've had it, but probably going on 10 years.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Man. There's patent right there. Yeah, I see it.
How about that
American
stainless
LaFrance.
dash?
New York.
Yeah, New York.
Where's on the left side there? Elmira?
Yeah, Elmira. Engineered and manufactures. Look at that ladder, comes right up into the
Yeah, I see that.
cab.
Yeah. So 15,000 for this.
Yeah, yeah, this year. I mean, it might go up a little next year.
They don't go down.
No, they quit going down a long time ago.
So is that an Anglia back there?
That is a Prefect.
Prefect. Let's go take a look
That's
at that. So this is the kind of car that drag races, in the 60s.
oh yeah,
would
the
really-
Anglias.
Oh yeah. So that's complete with hubcaps and everything.
It was, it had that little bit of damage when it was wrecked, and that's when it went to the wrecking yard. And the old man that had it died, and we bought about probably 60 cars at that auction, all of them Mustangs, except this one. And yeah, we stole this one.
So 1.17 liters.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Look at how tiny that motor is. So it's a little flathead, just over 1 liter. So it'll be, let's see, 2 liters, 122 cubic inches. So about 60 cubic inches.
Yeah, like 3 coffee cups.
Yeah, but this is a kind of car that that drag racers back in the day would put Hemis in, like all the way back here, and the driver would be sitting back there.
Yeah.
But this has got 4 hubcaps on it. What an unusual car to find in Texas.
It was kind of a rare piece, even in his yard.
Yep. So this has got 54,000 miles, or kilometers maybe. No, probably miles, because the steering wheel's on the right. But this is a Ford that, if you were in England and wanted to buy a Ford, this was one of the options. The cars that Ford made in England were smaller cars. So it kind of looks like a 37 Ford, but it's probably later. It's probably a 46 or something like that. All right, so if I wanted to buy this, what would you charge me?
I'd have to think on that one.
Really? Okay.
I've never seen another one. I don't have any idea what it would be worth.
They're not worth much, but they're very unusual, you know.
Nothing's worth much.
Yeah. No, I mean,
But if
American
there's
truck.
only one of them that you know of, might
Right.
as well price it high.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's is that a
That's a 67. That's a pretty strange little car. That's the first car I bought. I got that when I was 16. It was wrecked real hard on the front. I put a front clip, aprons, core support, back when I was still gas welding stuff together. Drove it for a couple years, sold it, traded for it back, fixed the transmission the kid had broke, sold it again, and my brother traded for it and gave it to me.
Wow.
And it's been sitting here ever since. But this car, power steering, power disc brakes, air conditioning. I mean, it was loaded up for a coupe, upper and lower consoles. Yeah, it was a neat car.
So it's still got a 289.
Yeah, and I'm not 100%
So it's an air
sure that
conditioned car.
didn't get changed. Yeah, it was air conditioned.
So
power
2-barrel, power steering, power brakes, air conditioning. Wow.
It's
So
good.
let's see what else you got. I just want to point out maybe a couple more.
Sure.
Oh, so you got a Bronco, huh?
Oh yeah, there's a couple of Broncos in here.
That doesn't look too rough to me.
Well, I mean, relatively speaking to some of the stuff you find up north, it's
Yeah, see, I'm from New York originally. Like,
yeah.
so it's a Bronco Sport. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, you got no doors in there, but the doors are inside.
Yeah, they're inside.
Is this a complete vehicle? It's got an engine?
No, motor's gone, tranny's there.
Train is there. So that automatic. It's got a
Yeah.
torque converter. It looks like it had air conditioning, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Is
it
it
looked like it was
condenser?
aftermarket.
Okay. Originally blue, or at least, yeah, it looks like it was blue.
Yeah, dark blue.
Yeah.
That would have been a pretty one.
So there's doors. These don't look to be the doors for this because they're a different color,
Yeah.
but they're doors anyway. Missing a windshield. The
Seems
radiator's
like we
there.
had a kid come from Austin or San Antonio looking for a Bronco. We had 4 or 5 of them, and so we let him pick, and then
Pick the parts
the
up.
one that he picked probably needed the windshield frame and the doors.
This would be a good restoration candidate for sure.
Oh yeah, that
All
one
right,
would build
so
back.
this one, I want to buy this one. What would you say?
Probably 2,500.
2,500.
Yeah. Yeah, the little Broncos down here are kind of silly.
They're silly all over the country now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be 35 next one.
No worry. Okay, so where's this K code? Do you have any idea? Just so I can point
Yeah.
out where the. And I always got to be sensitive to people. They say, "Why didn't you talk about the Pontiac? Or why didn't you talk about the Chevy?" You know?
It's all just cars to me anymore.
Yeah. All right, let me explain what this is. If you're into Mustangs, you'll know this already. But I'm going to educate everybody else. Here's the serial number. 6R07K. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th numeral is a K. That means it was a K code, which means it had a high performance 289. So a standard 289 with a 4-barrel, I think was 225 horsepower. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
But a K code was 271 horsepower. It had solid lifters, different valve springs. The same motor they put in an AC Cobra. It was the same motor that they started out putting in GT350 Mustangs, Shelby Mustangs. But Shelby did additional work to the heads, put a high-rise aluminum manifold with a Holley carburetor, and they got 306 horsepower out of the same motor. But 289 Cobras, that's exactly the motor in a Cobra. So this car was a K code, which means it had dual exhaust. Most of them came with stick shifts. This one seems to have had an automatic. And we don't know if the K code motor's still in here.
No.
But the heads are off, and that's the only way I can tell
Yeah.
is with the spring bosses.
And you know, that's one of the myths that went around for the last probably 3 decades.
What's that?
Is every person that came out here wanted to have a car like their buddies in high school because he had a Hypo 289. I've had, I don't know, 1,000, and maybe had 2 of these.
Is that right?
Maybe I've seen 10 in my lifetime. You know, I mean, there just weren't that many Hypo 289s.
Has anybody come along and wanted to buy that serial number?
No, not yet. There are very few people. I mean, you're on about the 3rd guy that knows it's here.
Well, that's cool. Wow. Well, now another 1 million people. are gonna
Well,
watch
yeah.
it. Well, that's cool. It is an unusual car. I'm not sure if I've ever seen one. It's a 58 Ford. 58 Ford was the first year they went to dual headlights and these kind of odd rectangular dual taillights. What's unusual about this is it's a two-door wagon. So this was kind of the equivalent of a Chevy Nomad that Ford would have made. This one must have had an interesting life because as I look inside here, I see it's got a tachometer on the steering column. It's got a floor shift, so it's a stick shift. It's got a clutch pedal. I see a big 4-barrel manifold. So this was a hot rod at one point in its life. It says here, premium sound performance, engineered by Brown. This car probably did some quarter-mile times, probably burned rubber at some traffic lights earlier in its life. The shape of it does. The body looks pretty good. These fenders look like garbage, but this is certainly worthy of restoration. By the way, you can see this black fuzzy interior it had at one time. It's got like those old vans back in the 70s with shag carpet all in the inside. The whole headliner is done in black shag carpet. Yee. Well, here's an old Land Rover that I didn't see the first time through here. These are interesting vehicles in that they have an aluminum body, so the body's never going to rust. The issue, though, is the chassis is made of steel, and that does rust. This has no engine, but it's got a transmission. You know, depending on the shape of the undercarriage, the chassis, and the supporting steel, you know, this could be a worthy candidate to fix up, or maybe just drop in a small block Chevy and you know, keep it kind of ratty looking like this. Spotlight, roof. This is that, I forget what they call this roof, maybe a safari roof, that air can blow underneath here and get in the interior to cool occupants off, but it won't allow rain in there. It's got these windows on the side, so I guess if you were on safari, you could look out there. So that's worthy of consideration. And I want to show you another one over here. It's interesting. He has quite a few VWs, but the VWs that I'm attracted to are the ones with the small taillights, which makes it 1960 or earlier. This one has a flat steering wheel. So I say this car is probably a 1958 or 59, and it's got 49,000 miles, which means that's a 36 horsepower motor, which means it's got, the block is made of magnesium. The 40 horsepower VWs had aluminum blocks, but these earlier ones had magnesium blocks. If it is in fact a 36, which it may very well be, it should have had. And this has got the rag top. You know, probably the floors are rotted out, and probably this is not worth restoring, but it's complete. So if you were restoring an old VW, this would be worth buying just for parts. As the Barn Find Hunter host, I feel guilty walking past cars like this Gremlin. It's probably a, I don't know, 53 or 54 Chevy, which is complete. I mean, down to the hubcaps, every piece of trim. I'm walking right by it. If that were in somebody's yard, I would spend 20 minutes looking at that car. But the problem is, there are hundreds of cars. I just can't spend enough time talking about this Ford panel truck and these Ford pickup trucks, another panel truck. You know, this show would go on for hours, so I apologize. I just can't spend enough time to satisfy everybody, so I just have to do my best. So did you build this?
Yeah,
Nope.
we built it for a Halloween project at church.
Ah, gee.
They have a trunk of treats, and we always do something a little over the top. And so we walked through the yard one day, and I told the kids, you know, they're kind of everything's rat rod now, you know, everybody's all wound up. And I said, they wanted to build a rat rod, so we walked through the yard and we looked at some of them with 4 doors, you know, the old 37 Plymouths and stuff like that. I said, the only problem, we build one of these little cars, you know, there's only like 3 of you get to ride in it. And I said, well, we could build that old bus. And it was just a box sitting over there on the ground.
Now, what year is that box from?
We think it's 29.
Wow.
27, 8, 9, somewhere
So
in
no
there.
chassis, no engine?
No, nothing. I mean, it didn't have a cowl on it. We stole that cowl off an old Chevrolet over there. No windshield, you know. The nice thing was the doors were still there. So we had to weld them up because they wouldn't fold anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But we pulled it in there, and I had an old oil field truck. a 94 F700. So it's sitting on a 3-ton truck that we cut the frame and dropped it in the middle. And,
So that engine was already in the frame.
yeah, that's all 94 Ford.
Diesel.
You can drive it anywhere.
Yeah, wow.
We built it in 30 days, and we went to church for the trunk of treats deal, and you know, we had kids hanging all out of it, just had a blast. Well, still didn't have, I think we had the driver's seat bolted down and the windshield in and nothing else. And my older boys, the ones that helped me with it, said, we need to go to SEMA. And I was like, well, yeah, we'd probably do that. You know, we hadn't drove it out of the yard yet, but so we're all talking about going to SEMA, and we looked on the calendar one day at lunch, and SEMA's like the 1st through the 4th of November. It's like the day after Halloween.
Right.
I'm like, there ain't no way. And, oh, we can get it done. And my second son and the one that works for me, my 5th, they're like, yeah, we'll get it done.
What a great attitude.
So they're over here till 1, 2 in the morning every night working on this thing. And we did it. We got it done. We brought it back. Halloween was on Monday, so they did the church deal on Sunday afternoon.
And then you went right away.
So we brought it back, and Sunday night we worked all night, and Monday we worked all day, and we left Tuesday morning for Vegas. And it was a little sketchy, but we got to El Paso and balanced the front tires, and we got to Tucson and put a U-joint in it. But we got to Vegas and just had a blast. Drove it home, and since then it's been we went to Lubbock and Dallas and went to the Roundup in Austin.
How far is Vegas from here?
A long way. It's
1,000?
It's 1,000. I think it's 1,000 miles exactly.
So the maiden voyage was 1,000.
Maiden voyage was about 6 miles into town, and then the gas station stop and off to Vegas.
So what do you haul in the trailer?
So we found this trailer on the way back from Pate last year. A buddy of mine, we thought, man, there wasn't nothing left of it. You know, the bottom was all rotted off.
But it's still got yellow on here, like a school bus.
It was it was same vintage.
Ah.
And so we thought, we build a trailer, that'd be kind of cool. So it sat here for about, I don't know, 6, 8 months. They have this art walk in Alpine. It's just the art deal, but they have all these, somebody saw the bus on the way back from El Paso and called us and said, man, if you'll bring that bus to El Paso to the art walk, we'll pay your fuel, we'll buy your motel, just show up. We're like, yeah, I could do that. So I told a friend of mine that did the lettering on the bus. He's an artist. I told a friend of mine, I said, hey, this guy's he's an old Alpine guy, just an old desert rat, but he's an artist, and so he's a featured artist. He said, so this year they're going to have, they give him the whole half of the city to have this, to invite his buddies. And so he's going to have this display, Art in the Hood is what it was called. And so he come up here and we pulled off, I don't know, 24 hoods off them old junk cars and took them down, and he passed them out to all his artist friends. To paint on.
Brilliant.
And then he took a bunch to the high school and the college. I mean, so there was one street that just had a row of car hoods painted on.
Brilliant.
And this friend of mine painted 4, and so we thought, well, we can't just go down there, you know. So we built the bus or the trailer in about a week.
Oh,
and
so you built the trailer from scratch when you built the frame?
No, we actually had the old trailer,
okay.
So we sandblasted it and mounted the box, and then we had this real shiny, nice bottom. And so the boy that works for me, Morgan, he's got that internet figured out. So he gets on the internet and gets
how to rust things?
The ingredients to rust that stuff. And he got out here with a spray bottle. In about 20 minutes, we left for Alpine, and that thing was brown like it'd been there for 40 years.
So you can make a camper out of this or something?
You know, we put a little stove in there so we can hang out. We haul stuff.
Oh, look at the back.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
You know, yeah, we get a little carried away.
That is a blast.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Whose idea was that?
Oh, that was mine.
Man.
You know, people get a little too attached to their cars.
Uh-huh.
So I don't like cutting them up. I mean, I like cars a lot, but they're more fun if you get to play with them.
Yeah. So you built this in a week. So was it the right width for the
yeah,
front?
yeah, we found a trailer that was just right. And
Man.
we had some old school buses that we were going to crush, so we had to break all those panels along the bottom
Oh yeah.
on the
yeah.
outside.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut them to fit and then broke them on the sheet metal brake, fit them in. That's where the boy that does the welding comes in. We get started. There's no limit. He doesn't care. I mean, we'll make it work.
Wow.
It's usually 2 o'clock in the morning, but yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to build a couple of rat bikes.
Motorcycles?
Yeah, that's where I bought that Harley this weekend at the auction. So that's what that's for, just silliness.
I've got to see the helicopter.
Yeah.
Well, this has been let me see, we got here an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing hour and a half. So we met Jeff, and through him we met his family, 9 kids, who all seem to have an amazing sense of humor, with school buses, helicopter, a caboose, an airplane, and more cars than you can shake a stick at. Thank you so much for spending the morning with us, man. This has been a blast.
Good time.
Thank you.
You bet.